I'm going to turn to animal welfare now. Slight change of tone. In June this year, you set out plans for a phased approach to introducing a national model for regulating animal welfare. Obviously, we're all well aware that the clock's ticking on this Senedd term, so are those plans on track?
Yeah, they are. And we've always said that we would take a phased approach to developing this national model. So we put out some statements recently on this as well to inform the Senedd further. So my core focus for the remainder of this Senedd term will be on delivering those priorities for animal welfare, which are set out in the 5-year animal welfare plan, taking us up to 2026. That, if you like, that area of policy driven by the evidence, and also what our priorities were as politicians, setting out as politicians as well. So alongside this, we're also going to explore those proposals for the regulation of animal welfare establishments. So we're going to focus on rescues, sanctuaries, rehabilitation and rehoming centres. And in focusing on those animal welfare establishments in phase 1, this is phase 1, this is where there's a majority of the benefits that we can deliver for thousands upon thousands of animals. We're hoping to channel the effort to where the regulation gets the greatest benefit on the largest number of animals, taking into account the current evidence, the views and the information submitted, and the issues arising from the current lack of regulatory oversight and support within that sector. We have got a second phase that we've indicated already, and in that secondary phase, we want to move into focusing on pet grooming. And as outlined, we've got clear priorities now to deliver based on the current animal welfare plan for Wales. This will take us through the remainder of the Senedd term. But this isn't going to happen overnight. I think it's right that we do it in a phased way. Those areas that can have greatest impact first, then on to others, and based on the evidence at all points. So
taking that into account, are there areas that you think probably won't get over the line this Senedd term then?
Yeah, it was always going to be a phased approach, so there'll be other areas. So, for example, there are areas that have been talked about that we could move into in future phase. So things such as animal exhibits. There were mixed views, I have to say, in terms of animal exhibits. It wasn't, whilst there was a majority support for actually regulating within the animal exhibits, there were mixed views, and there was also inconclusive evidence. So in the phase-in, I think we need to look at some of those type of areas more, ground up the evidence. We do acknowledge that there are arguments for regulating other activities under a national model, so our approach will be phase 1, phase 2, and then gather the evidence, understand the impacts of possibly regulating on other areas, and bring them forward as part of that phased approach to a national model. But Richard?
Yeah, I'll add very briefly.
I
just want to...
Thank you for Deputy First Minister.
No, it's absolutely... I'm very happy to come in. So, very briefly, as you'll recognise, the commitment that we have and we're working to at the moment is twofold. Developing a national model for animal welfare regulation. And the consultation that took place, and indeed the government response to the consultation that was recently published, mean that we're exactly on track, so to speak. And the second part, as Deputy First Minister rightly highlighted, was we're prioritising the programme of work that we've already got set out in the Animal Welfare Plan for Wales 2021 to 2026. Recognising the feedback from the consultation, the first priority with regard to the further development of the national model is rescue centres, sanctuaries and those kind of organisations and the like. And as the Deputy First Minister said, we will be developing and exploring initial proposals around what a framework might look like for those kinds of establishments. But as I say, the priority for this Senedd term is centred on the delivery of the Animal Welfare Plan for Wales 2021 to 2026 that is set out. And we have the clear priorities from the consultation that will take us beyond that.
And that's where Richard and his team now, the resources are focused to deliver that.
So just taking that into account, and it's not been in your recent statements, but I was wondering if you're able to update the committee today on any progress on the NLW proposals to introduce licensing to regulate the release of game birds in Wales?
Yeah, that's still under consideration. I think we're waiting for ministerial advice to be floated up on that. So when that comes, I'll be able to look at the evidence and make a decision.
My final point, Chair, is just on the proposal to phase out greyhound racing in Wales as part of, obviously, things you touched on, licensing of animal welfare establishments, activities and exhibits. I know there wasn't a specific consultation on that or white paper, but how confident, I know you've got a stakeholders group that you've got to give, but how confident are you that the developed legislation will take into account those stakeholders' views, and will there be an economic assessment of the ban on it? And is there any detail that you can share with us today?
Yeah, I can give you some detail, and you're right in saying the implementation group has met, it's up and running, the new chair is in place, the membership is in place. We might bring on a couple of additional members as well to strengthen it, to look at that issue, related issues within the local area, local environment and so on, but it's good that it's up and running. We will, as we take forward the proposals, there will be further opportunity for interested parties to contribute as we bring the committee stages of legislation forward. And on the economic impact assessment, there will be an initial regulatory impact assessment as part of the development of the bill, and then we'll do a further economic impact assessment through the integrated impact assessment as well. But simply to say, to reflect on, in the consultation that we carried out in 2024, there were 2 questions related to greyhound racing, and the majority of responses were supportive of moving towards a ban. So whilst there hasn't been a white paper, it's very clear that there is sufficient public and cross-party support for moving to a ban to warrant the action. So I brought forward the oral statement on the 18th of February, which updated members on the animal health and welfare, including the announcement of ban greyhound racing in Wales as soon as practically possible. And I've also issued a written statement on the 24th of June on the Welsh Government response to the consultation we've just discussed on the licensing of animal welfare establishment, and that also included reference to greyhound racing and our next steps. On the 11th of July, I put forward a further written statement which put forward the details of the implementation group and the guide in the transition towards a ban on greyhound racing in Wales. So key stakeholders have been invited and have taken part now on that implementation group set up to assist Welsh Government in mitigating the impact on the industry and ensuring the welfare of dogs is not compromised as we move forward to a ban.
Jenny?